You want to take another polygraph?
Too long, I'll take whatever you need to take. I'm not hiding nothing.
Right.
Working with you guys with,
Hey, well, a lot of guilty people work at the place.
Well,
I'm not saying you're guilty,
I
but...
understand. I don't know, whatever you want me to do, that's all I got to say. I'm just not going to jump for someone else's bullshit, I know that.
This was your opportunity. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's my opportunity, but I am not admitting to something I didn't have part of, okay? Yeah, you guys, I've been treated like hell ever since this fucking case started. My family's been treated like shit. I lost my job here at the police department, and it's continued for something that I have no control over. I love being a police officer.
We didn't make the lies up, Ray.
No, I'm not lying. I had nothing to do with this case.
We didn't make the inconsistencies. We didn't make them up. You did.
This is bullshit.
Well, Ray McCann would go to jail for someone else's bullshit, and the person whose bullshit it was is named Daniel Furlong. But Ray was not charged with the death of Jodi. They could not prove it. Instead, he was charged with perjury, where he would serve a 20-month prison sentence. If you have not seen the interrogations of Ray McCann, the playlist is linked in the description below. Ray was a reserve officer in Constantine, Michigan. He was railroaded by his own department to get this case solved, which they ultimately failed in doing. The case was the murder of local Constantine child 11-year-old Jodi Parrack. After going missing on November 8, 2007, the search began. Jodi was ultimately found in the Constantine Cemetery, no longer alive. Daniel Furlong, who was 58 at the time of Jodi's disappearance and 65 at the time of this interrogation in 2015, was only caught after he tried to abduct another little girl in nearby White Pigeon, Michigan. He was arrested, and when Daniel's DNA matched in the Jodi Parrack case, he was offered a deal by the prosecution to grant him immunity for all other offenses that he may have committed, if he came down and told them the truth about what happened to Jodi Parrack. The immunity included the attempted abduction he was originally arrested for. This is part 1 of this interrogation. Look for part 2 in the description. This is an exclusive interrogation, and to ensure that this channel is able to get these interrogations, it is crucial that you hit that like button, that you subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, let YouTube know that you want to see this content. Okay, enough rambling, let's get into it. Let us first have a moment of silence for the victim in this case.
When's the last time you had a cigarette, Dan?
I have to look at my calendar. I can't remember from day to day.
Dan, do you know John McDonough here in Harrington?
I don't know, I ran out with John years ago. I see you.
This is Aaron. She's the chief assistant prosecutor here.
Last time I had a cigarette was probably August 10th.
Alright, well obviously Dan, you know why you're here today, and your attorneys have talked to you about everything. So we're going to kind of go through what happened that day. I've obviously, since I've been here, been able to learn a lot about the case and the facts surrounding it, and I understand that you had a good conversation for the most part with your family. It's just been one thing that's been eating away at you, and I understand that what happened wasn't a good thing.
John, Dan knows too, I just want to make it clear so you hear it. He knows that you guys agreed to do this to avoid media circus.
Mm-hmm.
So he appreciates it and the opportunity to see his family. So thank you.
And that's why I asked these guys here too.
These guys all know you. And Dan, we know that good people do really, really bad things sometimes. And
I think I went to school with you.
not with me. May have gone with my dad.
Who was your dad?
My dad was. I had an uncle. That's my uncle.
Okay.
Yeah.
went to school with him.
And I grew up in Three Rivers and played Little League and stuff. I mean, you know, I'm a local person, and you know the people around here, and you know how much us just learning the truth is going to mean to everyone. You know, it's an important thing for the family to be able to sit back and understand what happened. For closure, as it probably was for your family to sit and talk to you today. So I'm going to kind of let you start from the beginning, and if I think there's something I need to know, I'm just going to stop you and ask you something. But obviously you remember that day, I guess, pretty thoroughly. Why don't you start at the beginning of the day and tell us what happened? And I want to, you know, I know as hard as it may be, can you please give us as much detail as you possibly can? The more detail you give us today, the less detail you're going to have to tell the police when we talk to you.
Okay, my day started out. I got up about 6 o'clock in the morning and went to work and come home from work probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I started cleaning my garage out. Because what's called that weekend, they were trash pickup for the community in Constantine. Got a bunch of shit out front, and there was still some stuff that I wanted to get out of my old garage because I was having a new one built. So I got the stuff out. And later that evening, probably about, I don't know, it must have been 5 o'clock or so, I seen this little girl riding up the street. I thought, well, you know, I had been taking these pills called Santex. It's a drug to stop smoking and stuff. Plus it makes you hallucinate. And I asked this girl to come over to help me move some stuff. She got off her bike, came up to the house. That's when I grabbed her, took her in the garage, threw her in the back of this boat that was in the garage, and I started. That must be one I got DNA on her shit. And what you call it, got her out of the boat, and I didn't know what to do. So I got.
What was she saying when she was in the boat and stuff?
She wasn't moving, she wasn't screaming, nothing. Like, you know, this was an everyday occurrence or something.
How long was she in the boat?
I probably had her in the boat probably 35, 40 minutes.
What kind of boat are we talking? Was it like on a trailer?
Yeah, I was on a trailer.
Were you in the boat with her?
I got in the boat with her.
Was there any penetration?
Uh,
Was there any penetration or anything?
I didn't want to have sex with her, nothing like that. So I got her out of the boat. By that time it was dark out. And I thought, well, got her in my truck. I thought, now what am I going to do? So I just...
Is this in the cab of the truck or back in the...
cab of the truck.
This is a pickup truck?
Yep.
Okay.
Was she still alive at this point?
At this time, yeah, she was still alive.
Now, what, did you have her tied up or anything?
So she was like this then?
And
was she talking to you at all?
she said, will you let me go? And I said, I can't let you go, honey. So then I took her out to the cemetery, down on the ground, and I thought, well, maybe she'll catch her breath again. And I just took off.
I think she was probably dead, Dan.
Well, I don't know.
At the cemetery?
What, you said you had what kind of bag
It was
was
a Myrie bag.
it? And did you have anything securing it on there?
No.
So did it actually have strings like high
No,
and
I
shiny
had
bag?
like a little handle,
But just
like you
like,
get, you know, what you get at the grocery store right
yes, sir,
now,
okay, so.
okay? Them kind of-
Just one thickness of bags or two?
One.
Did you pull it tight?
I didn't pull it real tight, no.
How long did she?
I'm gonna say probably, oh, 20, 25 seconds or more.
Why did you put?
I don't know, I don't even know why. About that time I was panicking. Well, you know, so I just wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
So I got in my truck and I left.
You took the bike too. The bike was in the truck.
I put the bike by her and I laid her on the ground.
When she was transported from the house to the cemetery, did you go anywhere first?
No,
Straight there.
right there,
Did was she in the back of the truck?
in the cab.
She was in the cab. Was she dead in the cab?
No, not that I know
This isn't making sense to me, Dan. I think, you know, and this is, obviously, we need you to just be completely honest.
of. I am honest,
Okay.
period. I'm telling you just like it was.
And what time do you think it was when you left her there?
6:30, 47.
And it was, you said it was dark out.
It was like a cold, rainy, dark night. I'll go get around here.
Now, is there something about water that if she was wet or anything?
Was there any water in the boat?
Nothing. So,
She had sand on her feet.
Did you ever take her anywhere else?
directly from my house to the cemetery.
Did you take her shoes off ever?
No,
Did she have shoes on?
I don't remember if she had shoes on or not.
What was she wearing?
She had a sweater on. She had like a long black lacy sweater on top of another sweater. If I do believe right, think right. And she had a pair of, I think, white jeans on, if I'm not mistaken.
Did she have a cap or a hat on or anything?
Huh?
Did she have a hat or cap or anything?
No.
Was anybody around the cemetery when you left her there?
Nobody.
What kind of truck was it?
90, I want to say 97 GMC pickup,
What color was
burgundy in color.
it? Dark?
Real dark burgundy. That truck's long gone, and if I'm not mistaken, it's up in South Dakota right now, or probably in a junkyard somewhere.
And your wife was gone.
My wife was at work.
What did you do when you got home?
When I got home, I just went in the house.
Did you
At that time, my brain was going 50 million miles an hour.
did you take a shower or clean up or anything?
No,
What happened to the clothes you were wearing?
if I'm not mistaken, I threw them away.
There was a little bit of blood on her sweater.
Did you struggle at all?
Not that I know, not that I remember.
Did she struggle with you when you were trying to handcuff her?
No. She lay flat on the floor. I tied her.
What did you say to
I said, what you call it? What did I say to her? I don't even remember.
Any idea how blood got on her sweater?
No idea how the blood got on her sweater at all. I don't know if I had cut myself or whatever.
Yeah. Did you ever take her pants off?
No, never took her pants off.
Did you ever put your hand in her pants?
No.
her? Did you touch her zipper?
Did I touch her zipper? Not that I recall.
Because more than likely there's some DNA of yours down there. I mean, did you have to pick her up?
I had to help her in the truck.
How did she get out of the truck?
I brought her out.
I mean, pick her up and move her, or
Did she move herself or help you
I,
step out, or was she?
if I remember right, I went, let me show you. I'll show you. I think I had to pick her up like this, pull her out, and then lay her out on the ground.
So did you have a cap on the truck
No.
or a tonneau cover or
No,
something?
no,
So
no.
she didn't try to sit up at all when you were driving or try to
She
get
She was in the car.
Oh, I thought she was in the
I think she was in the
cab. Oh,
She was in the cab of the truck,
Oh,
and she slumped over.
So she wasn't breathing.
As far as I know, she was breathing
but when did you put the,
when she got out of the truck
At the cemetery?
at the cemetery.
did you bring the bag along just for that purpose?
Not that I remember.
How did you happen to have a Myers bag with you?
It was in the truck.
Was the point of the bag to try to make it so she couldn't talk, knowing that she died?
I think so. Here, you better smoke another one.
Well, why did you go to the cemetery? I mean, there's
I-
fields, there's
I don't
bush.
know. I don't know why I went to the cemetery, but I found out later she was scared of the cemetery.
How did you find that?
I heard that in the newspaper and on the TV set.
Part of the deal was to eliminate, you know what the deal is. Plead to second degree, and then everything else was gonna be, the remaining cases are gonna be dismissed.
Right. Now, I guess I've got a, was there anybody with you at all?
Nobody.
Do you know?
I don't know the one that they showed on TV.
You don't know him?
I don't know him. I know because I used.
And you saw all that you saw everything in the paper about what was going on with him. What did you think then?
I just thought I was in the clear.
And then when the police asked for your DNA after the thing at White Pigeon, what were you thinking?
I wasn't even thinking.
You knew.
I didn't know.
When Detective Krieger and Lieutenant Christensen came to your house to talk to you that day, did you know?
And it all came back.
You knew what they were there for.
Well, I thought it was for the White Pigeon. But then they said, oh, you know, then they showed me pictures of it. And I thought, oh God, I forgot all about this.
Well, we'll talk about it in a little minute.
Have
So-
you been watching it all, or did you know? Had you been watching her in the neighborhood or ride her bike around?
No, I didn't know her at all.
Did she tell you her name?
No. Well, she dropped a piece of paper by the boat that was in the garage. And I said,
Excuse me?
her name.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I thought, well, who is who? So
Did Jodi have anything with a purse or backpack or fanny pack or
nothing.
so? I don't know if they had cell phones back then. Anything like that?
Nope.
Was that the first time that you tried to lure a girl into your garage?
The very first time. I had never done anything like that before.
And you know, part of the deal was to talk to us about anything else you might know about some of the other cases that we haven't solved. And I told you in the letter, and I'll tell you here now. Anything in St. Joseph County, I have the power to grant you full immunity for that, and I will do that. Just like what happened with, other families have, feelings as well, and if you could do for them what you're doing for us, for this family, by talking to us, and there's something else that you want to talk to us about,
Just like this top of this table, this flat. I know nothing about the other families. Nothing.
we know you knew that
No, I didn't. I didn't know that.
you guys worked at their concession stand in Montville,
Where?
at the race,
Oh, at the racetrack. My wife worked there. I did not work there.
but you were there.
I was out there, yes, but I didn't know who owned the concession stand or nothing like that. So no, I didn't.
Part of the deal here is that you need to be honest and that we'll have you take a polygraph. And so if you do know anything about it, you need to tell us right
I
now.
know nothing. I'll take a polygraph test. I don't care. And as far as the other cases go, I'll take one on that too. I know nothing. It was brought up that there was a case years ago where they took my footprints.
Nothing about that.
Nothing.
Now you said that it was the first girl that you tried to lure into your garage. How many other times had that happened?
None.
Until
Till
now, had you been watching?
I seen back in, let me look at my calendar again. I knew back in probably, I seen maybe 2 or 3 times back in early July.
Of 2015? Of this past July?
Yeah, past July. And I thought that would be somebody else, but no, I didn't know her.
You thought it would be somebody else, what your name?
I thought maybe I'd try it again, but so,
What would have happened if she hadn't gotten away from you?
probably an income like happened. But I'm not a serial killer, if that's what you think.
I'm just asking you what would have happened.
But actually what happened, I tried pushing her out of the garage before it did happen. But I put my arm around her like this, and there was 2 extension cords on the ground, and I pushed in extension cords off to the side. There was no knife involved, no nothing. I don't know where she came to think I had a serrated knife, I was going to kill her right there, but I didn't. And as far as the old underwear goes, the pictures of the old underwear, there were supposed to be pictures of some women's underwear that the police took. Them were old underwear that I had detailed cars, okay?
They're bras? Are you talking about bras?
Just panties.
Oh.
I took them underwear and pushed them back in the back of my toolbox.
From detailing cars.
Some detailing cars.
So you don't know whose they were? There's
No, I don't remember who they were, what they were, or like that. And they also took a picture of an old hunting knife that I had, and that was in the bottom of my toolbox, way back in the back. I couldn't get to them.
Yeah.
And then they took a butcher block thing of my wife's that we had in the house. If I remember right, they took that for evidence and stuff. None of that was ever used. And he said that if I read the police report right, she cut herself free. That ain't true. She didn't have to cut herself free. And when I pushed her out of the garage, she said the door was closed and she had to go through an exit door. That's false, because the garage door was wide open. She could have got out.
Why'd you push her away? Did you try to stop
Because of the things that were moved that or the things I wanted to have moved had already been moved.
And was part of you worried that you might end up killing her like you killed?
That's what I was afraid of.
So you wanted to get her out of there.
I wanted to get her out of there.
Dan, there is a list of girls and names in the garage. There's a picture in the garage. There's a list of all the young girls in the neighborhood, their names. What was that for?
I don't know why I had them all wrote down.
I think you do.
No, I don't really. I had
You don't just
I had them all wrote down. I don't know why. I just wrote them down.
Well, how would you know their names?
Well, I found it out later, and so.
Well, there were boys in the neighborhood too. You didn't write any of their names down.
Well, I know.
You don't
Because
write young girls' names down for no reason.
I thought maybe one of them girls would be instead of
So, but how did you get the names? Did somebody tell you their
my
names?
grandkids. I told them that.
So they told you the names of.
So, were you waiting to do this? Waiting for an opportunity for one of these girls to make themselves available to do this again?
Well, I had plenty of opportunities because all these girls were in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging out with you.
Well, yeah.
But there were other people there, so were you waiting for an opportunity when you were alone?
Right. So.
I'm having a hard time with what happened 8 years ago, and then what happened this year. What happened if you tried to do this any other time between why?
I had flashbacks. That's what it was, just a flashback.
How did you feel when you were having the flashback? Trust me, you can tell us. We've heard just about everything.
I don't know, I just felt kind of numb. And like I said, I was taking these pills, these Centex or Shantex or whatever hell they're called. And so.
But were you taking those when it happened?
Yeah, I found some in my dresser drawer, and I was taking them.
That's nicotine.
Well, back to just, I can't believe that when you took her out of the car and laid her in the parking lot that she was still alive, Dan.
She was, seriously, she was.
But she couldn't walk. You had to pull her out, right?
What do you mean?
To get her out of the vehicle.
Oh yeah, well,
She didn't walk, she couldn't walk.
she couldn't walk, I had to pull her out.
She couldn't walk or didn't want to walk.
I don't know if she wanted to walk or what, but she couldn't walk. I had to drive her out of the truck.
Why couldn't she walk?
I don't know.
Had you had anything else over her head?
Nothing.
I mean, was her shirt pulled over her head
No.
when you were?
She was fully dressed when I got her out of the truck.
No, when you were in the boat.
Oh, when she came out of the boat, she was fully dressed.
But when you were, was her shirt?
She had an open blouse or an open sweater.
Was she wearing a bra or anything?
She had a bra on. So.
So you really think that she was still alive when you got her out of the truck at the cemetery?
I believe so.
It's okay, Dan, at this point in time. If she wasn't, you can tell us.
Seriously, I'm telling you right now that I swear to God she was alive in the cemetery.
And did she go limp?
Yeah, she went limp.
Was she really gasping for breath, or are you just hoping she was gasping for breath?
No, she was gasping for breath.
So when
when she laid on the ground, that's when I cut the.
how did you cut the zip ties out?
I had a pair of pliers or a pair of wire cutters and cut them.
So did you have to roll her over to do that then?
No, I had her up like this and just laid her down. And then when I laid her down, that's when I cut the.
And when you cut the, what did her hands or wrists do?
When you cut the, what did her hands and wrists do? Did they drop down to the ground then, or
Her arms just dropped.
was there any resistance?
Huh?
Was there any resistance?
None.
What happened is
I took them, threw them away.
Where'd you throw them away?
In the trash at home.
At home.
What about the Meyer bag?
Because she spit up in that Meyer bag. And I just took that bag and threw it away.
is that the same time you threw away your clothes then?
Mm-hmm.
You said you threw away your clothes. Was that at the same time then?
I took everything I had on and zipped out of the bag and everything and threw it away.
In the trash? I mean, did you go downtown and just toss it in a trash can, or did you do it right in at your house? Or?
I threw it away at the house.
Did you ever get her hair wet for any reason?
I think her hair got wet when she...
Did you try and clean her up at all?
When I had her at the cemetery.
Where was she when she...
At the cemetery.
At the cemetery.
They should have found out when they found her in the cemetery.
The bonnet?
Or whatever she threw up.
And what did you say the weather was like that night?
It was a cold, dark, rainy night. And it was when the Constantine football team was across the street at my neighbor's. We were there for a tomahawk party. And I'm surprised they didn't see the commotion because one side of the garage was closed and the other side was wide open.
And you were struggling with her a little bit?
Trying to get her in the truck.
Where was the truck?
And underneath this big canopy that I had.
Is that connected to your house or your residence?
No, it wasn't connected to the house.
So when you say you were in the, this isn't the garage then, when you talk about the garage and the canopy are different locations?
Let me draw you a drawing of this. Here's a better info.
Can I hand him a pen?
Okay, this is the house.
Can you see her?
Okay? There's the back steps going into the garage, right in the house. There's a canopy right here, like this. In the front of the garage. It's the type that you buy. Shit, I'm doing
It's like a Quonset hut almost or something then?
It was like, they sell them here in Centerville. This guy puts up.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, in fact, that's where I bought it. Okay? That's the garage. There's two sides. Right here, this side right here is where my car was usually parked, and the boat was right here. And there was a walkway through here. Okay? She came up off of this road right here
On her bicycle.
on her bicycle. The bicycle laid out here.
So did you call her from the street, say, hey,
Yeah,
come
I
here?
said, hey, come here, will you help me for a minute? And she walked up from the street.
Now where's this tomahawk party then?
Way over here. She walked up through this canopy, and there was a cover right here that nobody could see. Walked up to the back of the garage. That's when I grabbed her, put her in here, going into the house.
So she did go into the house for a little bit?
We didn't go into the house.
Oh, okay.
I got her in the back steps.
Is that where is that where you put?
She didn't say a word. Nothing like that. I laid her up against the concrete steps right here. Got her and stuff. That's when I dragged her into the garage.
So she wasn't walking at all.
Well, that's when she was walking. Okay, I got her into the boat, which was, like I said, right here.
And that's a boat on a trailer.
Yep.
So you had to get up some distance.
Oh, hell, it was like probably this high up.
So did you lift her up then?
I made her get up.
Excuse me?
I made her get up.
So there was a place you could put a foot and climb in there anywhere?
There was a step on that boat right here.
Why did you go into the boat?
Because the garage floor was nothing but dirt and stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
So I got her into that boat. And then she didn't resist or nothing like that.
Did she say anything to you?
No. She said, yeah, she did. She said, stop, stop. She said, I'll come back. I said, come back? She said, yeah, let me go and I'll come back. Well, in my mind, I thought, yeah, you're not, you know.
You knew you were in big trouble if you let her go.
Yep. So that's when I got her back out of the boat, put her in my pickup, and that's when I went off to the cemetery. I don't even think it was 35 minutes. I think it was probably a half hour. Well, when her...
We know.
Well, yeah, let me just get there, okay? She had that open sweater.
How was it?
It was she had that one sweater, it was a big long sweater, and then she had another sweater over the top of that. And that's when I caught my senses, and I thought, what the hell? So then I got her back out of the boat.
How did you get her out of the boat? How did you get her out of the boat?
I had to drag her out of the boat.
So she didn't voluntarily, she didn't crawl out of the boat herself then? Or?
No, I had to help her out.
Were her arms moving at that point? She's struggling with you?
No.
So you had to carry her?
Did she struggle with you at any point in time?
Nope. None. When I got her out of the boat, put her in my truck, I said, now sweetheart, just get in the truck. I'll take you home. And when I took off with her down the street, she said, let me go, let me go. I said, okay. So I thought, no, if I let her go, then I've been had. And I got her out to the cemetery. And that's the honest God truth.
Where was her bike?
Out by the road. I had to go out by the road and pick the bike up.
Out by the road at your house?
Mm-hmm.
And where did you put the bike?
This is the road, out here. She had to come around the corner. Right here. Where was it? Her bike was out here.
And when you took her to the cemetery, where was her bike?
In the back of my truck.
And then where did you put the bike?
If I'm not mistaken, when we got to the cemetery, the bike was still in the back of my truck. And the gravestone was like right out here somewhere in the cemetery. Then I just dropped, she was here, and I just dropped the bike out here in front of her.
Did you go to any particular area in the cemetery or any spot in the cemetery? Or?
I took her back, which I thought at that time was the darkest spot in the cemetery. And supposedly, if I'm not mistaken, there was supposed to be, I didn't know at the time, there was supposed to be a camera on the factory that was across the street from the cemetery. And I talked to a couple buddies of mine, and they said that camera don't work. But don't, you know.
Is this after or before?
After. So I thought, okay, I'm in the clear. You know, well.
Dan, after some prompting, you were able to admit that you were taking a list of girls when you tried to lure in. Had you been looking that day for a girl to be riding by, or a few days before that, were you kind of just looking for someone to come help you in the garage?
No, not really, because her and two other friends come riding down through there.
Is her? You said her. Just is that what you're speaking about?
And two other girls.
Okay.
And two other girls went down a side street. Was riding around the front of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew her? You knew who
I
she
didn't
was.
know her, but I just knew who she was.
You saw her a lot?
Yeah.
She made your list?
Yeah, I know. I had her on my list.
I'm just wondering if you had been waiting around looking for, when you were cleaning the garage, if you were looking for a girl to be riding by.
No. I just happened to see that day and stuff.
So would you say it was impulsive? I mean, you hadn't planned it?
I hadn't planned it.
Dan, even if you didn't plan it, how long did it take you to make your list?
Huh?
How long did it take you to make your list?
Or in a trailer park?
Yeah, there are quite a few names on that list. I mean, was that a week, a day, a month, all summer?
Probably took me all summer.
Did you add names to it? In other words, as time went along, or did they all get written on there at the same time?
It took time.
Now, I've got a question about why do you think he would go to prison for perjury? Why do you think he would do that?
What I heard, and what was a rumor going around town, he was one of the biggest drug dealers in Constantine at the time. And I thought, well, maybe he was hooked up with drugs or something. That's why.
So that's when you saw the news and everything going on with that, you thought it had to do with that?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm trying to figure out, is if he truly had nothing to do with this, why would he?
I don't know.
Prison.
Also, what I had heard, I don't know how true it is, but not like this, I heard that he had picked her up out of the cemetery and took her home. And after he tried to revive her, couldn't, he took her back to the cemetery.
Was that just a rumor around town, or who told you that? Somebody who would know?
Somebody that knew.
Who?
I have no, I heard it from, I think it was one of her relatives. And that was just a rumor going around. I don't know how true it was or what.
Now what about this rumor, where did you hear about the drug stuff with him?
That was what a rumor was too.
So did you?
It was just hearsay.
So prior to, had you had any feelings about, abducting a kid or feelings for little girls or anything like that?
Nothing.
Dan, that's not how this kind of stuff works. You don't just all of a sudden decide, oh, I'm going to kill this little girl. And something must have happened that made this come into you.
I mean, was the desire there in the back of your mind? You just didn't act on it? You just attracted to that age, 10, 11, 12 years old? It just...
Well, it looked like for me, it was older. If you would see her, she looked like she was about 14 or 15. But she was,
Yeah.
and everything, so.
So you're attracted to that age then?
No, I was attracted to older girls, but I thought she was older than what. So, don't mind me, guys. I'm just a bundle of nerves right now. So,
And we're just trying to figure out this whole thing out. There's a few things. One thing in particular that I don't understand is that, it doesn't make sense to us when you tell us that she threw up in a bag because there wasn't any vomit or anything found.
well, I don't know what she threw up in the bag, but it was wet. The bag was wet. Her hair was wet.
Could it have been sweat because she had it for longer than you've told us?
She might have. I don't remember.
Was it actually raining out at that time?
Yeah, it just got done raining.
So the ground was wet?
The ground was wet. Like I said, it was a cold, dark night. And it was just about ready to snow, I think, outside.
Well, it was cold that night, but it wasn't snowing.
Oh, then it was
I
raining.
can tell you, I was there, sheriff was there that night.
Which way did you leave the cemetery when you left?
I went down Florence Road, back down to White Pigeon Road to my house.
Did you see any headlights coming to the cemetery?
Nothing. No headlights.
Before today, have you ever told this to anybody?
No.
So you didn't go around the block, come in the backside of Constantine some way and throw anything out of your window?
Maybe a cigarette butt, but that's about it.
Like a Myers bag maybe?
No,
You throw
because I
that
took it all in, took it all home,
You took the Myers bag?
put it in the trash, and along with my clothes.
Were you afraid your wife might see it if she were to take the garbage out and see inside the garbage?
She never took the garbage out. I always took it out.
So you weren't worried about her seeing anything in there?
In fact, actually, yeah, because I took the Myers bag, I took the zip ties out, put them inside the Myers bag, took my clothes out.
Now, Dan, there were that weren't just there because she had
A loose bag on her.
scratch or something. Something was tight on her neck.
Well, maybe I overdid the Myers bag.
You might have pulled harder than
On
we
the
thought.
And you said you just set the bike on the ground next to her.
Did you wipe the bike off or anything, or did you have gloves on?
I had gloves on. I mean, I didn't wipe the bag.
You had gloves on the whole time? When you touched her, did you have gloves on?
No.
But sometime after you were in the boat, you put on gloves then?
After I got her in the truck, well, I put the bike in the back of the truck.
Put the blanket, you said?
No, when I got her in the truck, that's when I put the gloves on. Because I didn't want my fingerprints on the bike and stuff. I'm surprised there wasn't any fingerprints on her clothing.
Did you try to make it look like she had an accident in front?
Yeah.
You tried to stage it to...
Yeah.
Hey Dan, can I ask you a question? Did you know her from umpiring softball games, or how did you get to know her?
I don't think she can play sports.
Okay. So you didn't see her around town playing softball, or you didn't know her name from that?
Nope, I didn't know her name from Adam.
A lot of kids do.
But the only thing I knew that she dropped a note on the ground that said her name, had a name on his name. And that's it.
So you've never seen her before that day?
Never.
I'm just kind of curious if she played softball or anything you might have umpired or something like that.
Well, so I was wondering about because Ray umpired or Ray had a key to the softball diamonds, and so you would have had to have been in contact with
Nope. I never knew Ray.
You knew his father, right?
I knew his father, his grandfather.
Did anything happen near the softball diamonds or anything with Jodi?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Look at how many years I umpired for you.
Oh, I know.
I knew all them girls on your team.
I know, that's why I'm asking you that question. I just curious to know how you did that.
I knew hundreds of girls.
I know you did.
Probably not more than 1,000 girls. Because I umpired all the way to Battle Creek and back.
I'm not doubting that one bit. Not one bit, man. I just curious about how you got to know as well. If you met her from the softball field or, in association with her.
Dan, this is Detective Krieger. Do you remember him?
I know I've spoken to you before. Sorry, it's on these circumstances, sir.
And Detective Fuller's going to come in here in a minute. They've got some questions for you.
Detective Fuller, who's going to come in a second, he and I worked on this case for the 3 years that we're down here when we came down just to work on this case alone. And I think Lieutenant Christensen and I explained that to you when we came and spoke to your house. I understand there's a deal for you on the line here.
I didn't know there was.
Is that correct?
We're talking about the plea.
Right, the plea.
Right, I understand it.
So
None in there.
the reason that we're here is to make sure that
I do want some more. You got it?
Find us something.
We'll get you some coffee, bud. We got some pizza coming too, okay?
Huh?
We got some pizza coming, so we got some food for you too.
so Dan, the reason we're here is we just want to make sure that everything you tell us is legit, okay?
Right there's the Holy Bible.
I
Put
know.
my game hand on it.
That's fine. You know, I don't know you. I'm not judging you. All I want to make sure is that things add up to what we know about the case, and to make sure that you're being truthful. Because if you're not, that's
Oh,
not
I know.
very good. So, and there's some things that we just need to clarify. I've heard some of the things you said, and I just want to clarify all those. So the one thing that I know, and I'm sure your attorneys have said, and I'm sure Mr. Mariona has told you, but I haven't told you this, so I want to make sure to be diligent in my efforts, okay? Just be honest. I know that the one thing you and I haven't had a chance to get into yet is a lot of the details, and I understand you've spoken with your family about some of this, and I'm sure that you haven't got into some specific details with them. I know there wouldn't probably be any reason for that. You may have told them some general stuff, but I'm sure you weren't able to get into details with them, which is understandable. I probably wouldn't want to do that either. But we're going to have to get into some really specific details in here, and in order for us to corroborate what you're saying is in fact the truth. Okay, so I just want to make that aware up front, and I don't want you to be afraid to talk about some specific details about this, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to corroborate what you're saying is the truth, and that you're being upfront about everything. Okay.
So far I have it.
Okay. Okay. And like I said, I may not have heard everything, so I just want to go through this, and right now I just want to focus on the Parrack case. Okay, that's the only thing that I want to focus on. So let's take your mind back to that, and what I want you to do, and I know you just did this, but for me, and him, this is Detective Fuller, I want you to go through this again. You don't need to go through your whole day, but what I want to hear is what happened from the very first time that you saw her. That day, the day that this happened, okay?
Okay. Like I told them, I've got the diagram right here. Because I know you guys don't have the diagram.
Sure. Correct. I haven't seen it.
Unless that is right there.
No, this is the cemetery. We'll get into this a little bit later.
Hey, can I have a pen?
Sorry, did you want to play?
I don't care which one it is. Okay, this is the only way I can describe it.
Okay.
Okay? This is, you might want to see this too. This is a road that was done. Okay? She came down this road, which is White Pigeon Road. Okay? She came around the corner. Our house sat right here on that corner, which is the street. That's the best way to describe it, guys. She came around, she dropped her bike right there. Okay?
Why did she drop her bike?
I asked her to come up and help me move in the garage.
So where were you standing when you first saw her?
I was right here.
Okay. And do you remember why you were there?
I had just taken some stuff out to the front of the house. And I said, will you come up and help me? She said, sure.
What did you say to help you with what?
I said, will you come up and help me move some stuff?
Now, And I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop you a little bit because I need to get specific, like I said, okay?
Okay.
And again, I want you to be honest because I think I know the answers to these, but I want you to be honest with me, okay? Did you really want her to help you move some stuff, or was this so you could inevitably do this kind of give in to your urges type of thing?
Got any more green sugar? I don't know what we did. But anyway, yeah, I was gonna actually have her help me move some stuff.
Okay.
So I got her.
What were you going to have her help you move?
I don't know, I was throwing all kinds of trash away.
Okay, so it wasn't really to help you move stuff. Is that right? I just want you to be honest then. Okay?
No, there wasn't, you know, so I lured her back in here,
Okay.
which is, there was a canopy between the garage and the house.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
These are the back steps. I got her back in here, and I had 2 zip ties, or 3 zip ties. I got her
Hold on. Where were they?
in my pocket.
Okay.
Okay. So then I asked her, and I laid her down on the back steps.
Now hold on. So if a young girl gets off her bike to come and help you, she's not just going to lay down on the back steps. Right? I understand how this probably went, but again, you just need to be very honest right now.
My steps.
Okay.
She didn't move, she didn't do nothing. So I got her there. That's when I... Can you grab them 2 stir sticks, please?
Yep.
Thank you. That's when I got her. But she didn't put up a fight.
Okay. So you had 3 zip ties,
Mm-hmm.
and did you use them all 3?
I had to use all 3.
Okay. What do you mean you had to use all 3?
One.
So the zip tie, you had
I
2
had zip tie. So her hands were bound.
Okay.
Then I got her back, which led into the garage.
What do you mean you got her back?
Got her back into, well, I took her into the garage.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to do her in the house.
Can you do oh, it's got the streets on it. Perfect. Let me back you up because they just printed out a map for me. Okay, you know where this is at? You recognize all this? There's 5th Street right here.
Okay, that's on the street I lived on.
Yeah, and here's White Pigeon. Okay.
We lived right here.
Yeah, it's kind of on right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, with your pen there, draw where she went down.
What do you mean?
Now, which way did she come from? Because what you were saying on this one, this is White Pigeon and that's 5th, okay? White Pigeon's right here, but 5th is over here, okay?
She came around this corner. Right here.
Okay.
But our house sat right here on this corner.
So down Florence Road?
No.
Because this is White Pigeon Road.
This is 5th Street.
Correct.
Okay. She came around here. Came around here.
Okay, that corner. All right. So you were standing out there and you saw her coming down the road.
I was standing in my garage right here.
Okay.
Because there's a new garage right
Yep.
there, right next to it.
Correct. Okay.
Okay? She was in my old garage.
Okay. All right. So you got her back to your steps. You. Correct?
Right.
Okay.
Inside the garage there was a boat.
Now, did she walk into the garage? Or
She
did you
walked
carry
into the garage with me. She didn't force her in there or nothing like that. She just walked in. I didn't drag her in, nothing. She walked in. I put her inside the boat.
Okay. What do you mean you put her inside the boat? Because
I
I think
made her-
earlier you said she stepped up there voluntarily.
I made her step up into the boat.
Okay.
That's when
Okay, let's talk about that. So what kind of boat was this?
It was an old speedboat.
So
It was like a
speedboat, not
like a
fishing
bass boat.
Bass boat, okay. So what do you mean you made her get up in there? Did you help her? Did she do it on her own?
And I showed her the step
Okay.
and got her up in the boat.
Now, I'm trying to envision me getting up in a boat, because I've been around boats a lot. If my hands are behind my back, I'm not going to be able to climb into a boat, because I always have to use my hands to come
Like
up in there.
this. I grabbed her like this. She stepped up on the boat.
Okay.
I pushed her up in the boat.
Okay. Did she fall into there?
She. How did she do that? There was a step on the side of the boat, on the trailer.
Yep.
She then fell over in the boat.
Okay. So then what did you do?
And I climbed in the boat with her.
Okay.
That's when I.
Okay, so you kind of described what she's wearing. Can you go through that again for me?
She had a black sweater on,
Yeah.
like a, I don't know, a stringy black sweater.
Yeah.
And she had another sweater after that.
Okay.
I think. I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
Kind of a white sweater, maybe. So then I.
And these are the details. I understand it's difficult to talk about, but it's very important. Okay. And trust me, I've talked to people that have all kinds of fetishes. Nothing you're going to say right now is going to surprise me.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Really, I don't.
Okay. Sure. But you did. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then what happens? Okay.
That's when I got her back out of the boat. That's when I came to my senses.
Okay, so what's she doing while you're doing this to her? Not kicking, not screaming, not. Was she saying anything? Help me with this, Dan, because I have.
She said. I said, honey, I can't let you go right now.
I understand that.
So I got her back out of the boat.
Okay.
That's when I decided, well, I think I better just get her somewhere where she can, where I can get rid of her or take her somewhere.
Now,
That's
let's talk about that, because I think you just gave us an insight into the truth right there, Dan. It's difficult for me to believe, in my experience, that she was laying there, and part of that comes from two reasons. Because number one, I've been doing this a long time, and I've never really heard of that. And the second thing is what we did in this investigation over the 3 years is we talked to every friend and every family she's got. And they all said that she wouldn't let this happen. Just let anything like this happen to her. And, sure, go ahead. You hungry?
There's more, Dan.
I hope so.
So now, when you just said a minute ago that you needed to find a place to get rid of her, that kind of tells me that she probably was already dead at that point.
No, she wasn't.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
Okay.
That's when I got her back out of the boat.
Okay. And was she walking on her own?
She
or how
was
did she get out of
walking,
that
she was
boat?
walking on her own.
Okay.
I got her on the side on the passenger side of my truck.
Now your truck was where?
Parked in front of the other door.
Parked where?
On that door right there.
Way up here?
Yeah, on the other kind. Right in here.
Okay. And you said earlier there's a bunch of people right across the street. So how did you get her from garage into there?
She walked around the side of the truck.
Where were you when she doing that?
I was helping her.
Okay, what do you mean by helping?
Help her and walk.
I mean, if she's okay to walk and gets out of the boat, do you need to help her? I mean, let's face it. If she has a chance to run away, she's gone, right? So.
Well, at this point, she was kind of just stumbling around. She wasn't, I hadn't done anything to her.
Okay, but, so, how were you helping her walk?
I was behind her.
Okay.
And help moving her along.
So were you grabbing her somewhere?
Underneath the arms.
Okay.
Got her into a truck. At that time, I didn't know what I was going to do with her.
And which side of the truck did you put her?
Passenger side.
Okay, tell me about the truck.
97 or 99, I forget what year it was.
Okay. What kind of truck?
A GMC.
GMC what?
1500.
Okay, was it a big truck? So a full-size pickup? I mean, you're not talking a little Ranger S10 type of truck.
No, it was a 1500.
Okay. So you get her in the, is this single cab or double?
Single.
So you got her in the front passenger side of the truck?
Right.
Okay, how was she positioned in the truck?
Setting up.
Okay, so just like she'd be riding normal then?
Well, she was slumped over. But she wasn't dead.
Okay, so you said she was kind of stumbling around on the way to the truck, and when she gets in the truck, she slumped over. Something had to happen, follow me here, between the time she gets in the boat to the time you have to help her, she's stumbling along and she slumped over in the truck. Do you follow me here? Again, when this occurred, it really doesn't matter, Dan. I want to impress upon you that, because it really doesn't matter. These details, though, that don't make a lot of sense, can make a difference. So what happened in that time that's causing her to need the help walking and to be slumped over in the truck?
I don't know. I just had to help her over to the truck. I mean, she was still alive and everything.
Was she kind of passed out but breathing, still alive? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so how did she get passed out?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. This is one of those details that you're probably going to have to remember, Dan. And I know this is going to be one of those things that's hard to talk about, but it's okay. You're not going to say anything that's going to surprise us.
Why not?
Okay. But this is one of those things that are pretty important to remember.
If I remember right, she was still a little bit coherent.
Okay.
You know.
So how did she get from perfectly coherent to just a little bit coherent? Something in there happened, Dan. Probably in the boat.
The only thing I could say is she was still alive when I put her in the truck.
Okay. And maybe she was, but like I said, if she's unconscious and still breathing, she's still alive at that point, right?
Dan, why did you put her in the truck?
Because I was going to take her, lay her somewhere where people could find her.
And exactly what you said you were going to lay her. So she was unconscious at that time, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think she was.
Okay, so how did she get unconscious, Dan?
Well, that's when No, in the cemetery.
No, I'm talking before that. I'm talking before that, Dan.
Well, I know one thing, I didn't put her until she got to the cemetery.
Okay. But what happened in the boat? What else happened in the boat? Because something happened to make her incoherent.
I don't know if she banged her head or what.
Okay, then let's back up. When you had to help her out of the boat, did she get up and walk out of there on her own, or did you have to half carry her?
I had to half carry her.
Okay. What happened in the boat, Dan?
Like I said, man, I just got like a, second wind, more or less.
Sure, I understand. Probably the realization of what's going on
Mm-hmm.
kind of comes to you. So, I believe you when you say when you're doing this stuff, she wasn't putting up a fight, Dan, because she probably wasn't really coherent at that time, correct? So you're probably right. So what happened before that time, Dan? This is the part you're going to have to be honest with me about, okay? In here, we control all the information, okay? This can stay here. It doesn't go anywhere else. It stays here. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what really happened in that boat, or even before the boat. What made her incoherent?
You know what? I really can't tell you that. I don't know. I don't know what happened, really. Everything just went blank in my head.
Okay. I've heard that a lot of times, and every time it's been because somebody's afraid that I'm going to think or judge you in some way. I'm not going to judge you because the fact of the matter is, Dan, a lot of worse things, believe it or not, could have happened to her. She wasn't mutilated. She wasn't cut up and put in a bag or put in a chip shredder, wood shredder. A lot of worse things could have happened to her. You're not going to be able to tell me anything that's worse than many things I've heard before. Okay, I'm not going to judge you. This isn't about that at all. All right, but I know you're not being honest with me fully when you say you don't remember, because these things, trust me, I've spoken to a lot of people in your position. They don't ever leave up here. They stay with you, and I know that. And it's okay right now to talk about these things. This is the time when it's okay.
You know what? I really don't know what happened to her.
All right.
I'm being truthful with you so far.
Then let's fast forward. So you have to pretty much carry her to the truck, correct?
Right.
Because you're looking for a spot to, like you said, dump her. Is that right? Okay, so take me from that point on.
I got her out to the cemetery and laid her down.
Okay. So let's look at this map. Which way did you go from your house to the cemetery? Take me there.
What's the road is this?
Fourth.
Florence?
Fourth.
Fourth?
4th Street.
Where's the White Pigeon Road?
Right here.
Okay, we went around. Said this is White Pigeon Road?
This is White Pigeon right here.
Okay.
And this is 4th Street right here.
My house sits right here.
Okay.
We went around the corner. Let's go around.
All right. So you went down 4th.
Now this is White Pigeon.
This is White Pigeon right here. This is 4th.
This is White Pigeon?
This road right here, right here. Is
Oh,
White Pigeon.
okay.
And this is 4th. Right there.
We went around from my house down to White Pigeon Road.
Okay.
And what road is this?
This is 6th.
Okay.
This is 5th.
We went down to this road here, I think. 6th Street.
Okay.
Okay. And down this way.
Here's the cemetery. Does this make a little more sense?
Say this is the cemetery?
No.
Or that's
Right there. Right where
That
my finger
cemetery?
is. Yes. Here's your house. Here's 5th Street. Okay, and there's White Pigeon.
Okay, I lived on 5th. The next street down was what?
Well, they're right here. 6th, 5th.
Which one leads out to the cemetery from here?
Well, why don't you just tell me which way you went? If you remember, did you go into the cemetery from the north or from the south?
From the south.
Okay. Then let's talk about this. There's the cemetery.
Okay.
Why don't you tell me where you went in the cemetery?
That's the entrance to the cemetery.
Well, right here is the cemetery. That's a blown up picture of the cemetery.
It was on the north side of the cemetery.
What was?
Where I laid her.
Okay. This is north up here.
That's north up there.
And this is south.
Because where's Florence?
This is west,
Where's Florence
so
Road?
you're living over here.
Stop a minute.
Right here.
That's Florence? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
And you're living over here.
came in the cemetery, through the cemetery.
Where? Do you remember?
Down here, I think. And then off this road, circle through the cemetery.
These are the roads right here. You can see the roads. These things are all roads in the cemetery right here.
Okay, go back in here. Because if I'm not mistaken, would be where that factory is. Across the street from the cemetery.
Well, there's a couple of them. Here's one, and there's one.
This one here, so it would be back in here.
Okay. So when you decided to park and stop, you found a dark spot of the cemetery, right? When you decided to stop, where did you stop?
Where's the cemetery? This one?
Mm-hmm. That's a cemetery.
Probably back in here.
Okay, so were you on a road or not on a road?
It was one of the roads in the cemetery.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. When you stopped, did you stop on a road or did you go off the road?
I stopped on a road.
Okay, you stopped on a road. Okay, so then what did you do?
That's when I got her out of the truck.
Okay, tell me about that.
At that time, she was slumped over. I literally had to pick her up. Her head was on my shoulder. Right?
So was she alive?
She was alive.
How do you know?
She was still breathing.
Okay, and how do you know that?
Because I felt her nose and stuff. She was still breathing.
So did you think she was dead, but you want to make sure?
No, I was going to leave her there so she could catch her breath or whatever.
Okay. Not true. You couldn't leave her alive. Otherwise, you'd just let her go from your house. Because now she knows who you are, right?
Right.
Okay, so we know that's not true.
I did not kill her at my house.
Okay, no, but what I'm saying is, you weren't making sure she was going to stay alive and you weren't going to leave her alive there. We know that. So, you felt under her nose to make sure she was still living, right? Okay. So, was she conscious? Was she?
I thought she was. Her eyes were still moving.
Okay. Was she talking? Saying anything?
No, by that time she was. I don't know if she was coherent or what. And
she wasn't speaking, or was she?
She wasn't speaking.
Okay. So you help her out of the truck. So then what happens?
Help her out, and
Hold on. Where did you put her?
right next to a monument, big tall monument.
Okay. So was it right? So you said you're parked on the road. You didn't take your truck off of the little road there anymore, right? So is this big tall monument right next to the truck?
Right next to the road.
Okay, so when you helped her, did you help her very far away or was it right there by your
It
truck?
was right there by the truck.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hmm?
Go ahead, continue.
So I laid her on the ground. She wasn't moving. So I thought she was still alive. No, maybe. I don't know. Got the bicycle out of the back of the truck. Laid it next to her. Or in front of her.
So,
To make it look like she hit the monument or whatever.
okay, so you laid her by a monument and then you got the bike out and you put it, how did you put it? Just,
Like she laid there.
Mhm.
Put the bicycle there.
okay. Just threw it down there by her or what?
Just threw it on the ground.
Okay. So tell me what happened with her then.
With who?
With Jodi. You said something about a bag because you thought she was still alive. So you laid her down.
Make sure she was, dead.
And the bag came from where?
Huh?
The bag came from where?
Out of my truck.
Okay.
And then I just went home.
So what did you do with the bag then?
I took the bag, the zip tie.
No. Before you laid her down, was she on her Stomach, side, back.
Side.
Okay, she's on her side. Okay. And then you did what with the bag?
I took the bag, the zip ties, and
No, but I thought you said.
I did.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Okay,
Is she still on her side?
she's still on her side,
Okay.
and she must have heard or something because when she was all wet.
Okay.
That's when I left her on the ground.
Okay. And what did you do then at that point?
After I left her on the ground,
No, I mean,
I don't know if I tightened it or what. I don't remember. That must have been or whatever.
okay. Was she moving at that time?
No.
Okay. So then what?
That's when I had her on the ground. I just left her.
Okay. Still on her side or on her back or stomach?
She was on her side.
Okay. So what'd you end up doing with the bag?
I took it home and the zip ties.
No, from there you just took. And what'd you do with the zip ties?
Took them, put them in the bag.
How did you get those off?
Took a pair of cutters,
Where'd they come from?
my house, that I had inside the truck.
So they were already in your truck. Okay. Now, you lay her on the ground, and at some point I imagine you realize she's dead. So did you have the zip ties with you to cut those off right there?
I had the cutters there, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So you had them with you when you had the bag and stuff like that. Okay. I tell you what, I'm going to take a break for just a minute, okay? What I need you to do in the meantime is think about some of these things you said you couldn't remember, okay? These are kind of important.
I guess.
You need another piece of pizza?
Huh?
You need another piece of pizza?
I will in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll give you 5 or 10. Think about those things, okay?